it seems like this is an opportune time for us to take out Iran, and we have the plan with the bomb. Why do you think there is that hesitation now from Trump?
Because this shit is so complicated. Like, if you are not hesitant, you are a fool. Being thoughtful is smart. Trying to map out all the different consequences is smart. That's certainly what he's messaging. I don't see any reason to believe that that's not what he's doing. He wants to have a sense of, okay, if we hit this and it fails, like what happens? They're going to strike our bases. How many ballistic missile launchers do they have that we would need to take out? Because if we drop something on Fordo and we ourselves are flying the plane, they're going to attack our bases. So have we cleared them? Do we have the ability to defend them? Are there other things that we have to do? I can pretty much guarantee that he's got people in his ear being like, listen, we're going to do these 4 things and there's going to be a natural uprising in the country, but we need something like the bunker buster bomb to trigger that. And so then he's like, God, do I really believe that that's going to happen? So he's said publicly that I want to delay the decision until the absolute last minute, meaning of all things. Like, if I've got a decision to make and I know that I have to make it by noon on the 27th, I'm going to wait till 11:57 to make my decision. And to be honest, this is a conversation that I've had with my wife a gazillion times, because she will go after something right then in the moment. It's on her mind. And I'm like, that was the worst time to address that thing. Like, you know, you have 2 weeks to deal with it. Wait for that opportunity to present itself. You never know what might happen. The fucking supreme leader could have a stroke. And if you had just waited, like, you know, whatever. So when you have time and you give yourself the ability to, 1, map all of the different things that could happen, and then 2, just buy time for an opportunity to present itself, I think you're in a much better situation. So that's my gut, is what he's doing.
You support the U.S. supporting Israel, but is there a monetary cap on that? Because there was a time where, like, hey, we're just going to find some terrorists. We'll be in Afghanistan 6 weeks tops. Cut to 20 years later, $8 trillion, things like that. Like, is there a limit where it's like, all right, guys, like, you guys kind of have to wrap it up? Or do you think, I just don't want us to say we support Israel. It becomes a forever war, and forever war is code for we are now funding this thing for the next 10 years.
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't support us funding the war. That is for sure. And I don't think Israel is asking for that. The U.S. should not be writing blank checks. I literally just said like 7 minutes ago, I don't do blank checks. There's no blank checks. There's no just like, hey, go do whatever you want for as long as you want. It really comes down to how people feel about, you've got the parliament of Iran chanting death to America. Hey, no big deal. They can't attack America. Well, except for the fact that they have 2 programs running. They have a ballistic missile program that cannot yet reach America yet, but it certainly can reach our bases. And by the way, you only need 3% enriched or 3.7, whatever, percent enriched uranium. Dude, they're north of 60. This is not like, oh shit, we overshot. Like, sorry, we were just trying to get to 9. Dude, they're like, some people say that they have 87% enriched uranium.
Sheesh.
I won't even ask you to believe that, which, by the way, you only need 90% to have a nuclear weapon. But I don't think anybody argues that they're north of 60. So it's like, what do you think they're doing? They are building nuclear weapons. Now, are they just trying to get a nuclear deterrent so that they can be like, hey, listen, look at the uranium. Now you know we can do it. Everybody back the fuck up. This comes down to what people believe about that base assumption. If you're like, I'm cool with a nuclear armed Iran, because, Drew, they would never continue developing ballistic missiles and be able to reach other places, even though in the fucking parliament, they're chanting death to America. I don't know why people don't find that distressing. We could overstep this. There's no doubt. And in overstepping it, we would have acted foolishly, obviously. So this needs to be well thought out. We should not be rushing in to drop bombs. Run the thought experiment. Do we want peace in the Middle East?
Yes.
Do we want trade with the Middle East?
Yes.
Do we want to see the Middle East, every country, because many of them already do, but every country to think, what is good for my kids and my kids' kids here on Earth right now today economically? Do we want to see them educating their children, boys and girls? Do we want to see them build beautiful, incredible things through internal cooperation and external cooperation should they find themselves so inclined? I hope everybody says yes, but those are Western values. That's me 100% painting my value system onto other people. If they don't want that, and they think that America represents an existential threat to their way of life, and therefore they are going to nuclear arm, now it comes down to, you have to deter that. That's how I map it. And so I'm like, look, I'd love to stay the fuck out of Iran. I'd love to never have to think about them or to think of them as an ally and to have nothing but love for them. Literally, that would be amazing. And I, like I think most people, really want to believe that the people of Iran want that. I look at history and I see when people think God told them to do a thing, people will do that fucking thing. I'm telling you, the next 20 years, you're going to see a whole lot of videos of Muslims in America saying things like, and I can show you videos right now, saying things like, remember when Christians came to the Muslim world and started building churches and tried to take over? No, we're going to do the same thing here. You're going to be in a values battle, boys and girls. So brace yourself for that. So anyway, that's where I'm at today. My thinking is always willing to be updated. The next question, in terms of orienting to what people believe, is, do you worry about Iran having nuclear capabilities? Do you believe that a nuclear-armed Iran is just made the world better or worse? Now, if we believe that it makes the world worse, we share that belief. Now, dropping a bomb becomes a question of beliefs and values. The belief in what good would it do? Maybe it leads to all hell breaking loose. And that's why I think Victor Davis Hanson is such an important voice. You can tell he's excited. You can tell he wants that, what he calls a revolutionary new Middle East, meaning that there's peace in the Middle East for the first time in God knows how long. But he knows that this could all go wrong. And this could all go wrong. And we have to be unbelievably careful about how we move forward. But if you believe that Iran getting nuclear armed is dangerous, which is what I believe, you start asking, okay, well, if you believe that that's worse for the world, it's worse for the Middle East, it's worse for the globe because it will lead to nuclear proliferation. I believe it was Saudi Arabia that said we do not want Iran to get nuclear weapons, but if they do, we will race to get our own. You can imagine there's going to be a knock-on effect. There's going to be a whole bunch of people to do that. Now, I get it if people don't want any country in the world to have nuclear weapons. That makes two of us. Boy, do I wish they'd never been invented. But the reality is that they have. And so we live in that world. The question I would encourage everybody to ask themselves is, if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, do you think they will continue to develop their ballistic capabilities such that they could reach America? Now, it's my understanding that they've already stated that they would do that. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that. I admittedly would not be able to tell you who said that. So it's one of those, like, I've heard in articles or somebody's tweet or whatever. So I don't believe strongly in that, that it has been said. I do currently map them, given the flag burning and the death to America chants and all that, that they would. The hard thing that all of us have to ask ourselves is, eventually your beliefs and values become a thing that you do. Now, that thing that you do may be sitting and waiting. Mm-hmm. And hey, I am very open to hearing their best argument. Some people are going to say, don't be preemptive. You have to wait until they launch a nuke at us. If they launch a nuke, then you strike back. But you don't do anything till then. Or they may say, okay, listen, you don't wait till they launch the nuke because then it's a little bit late, but you need to wait until they've done a nuclear test, so you know this is not theoretical, they actually have a nuclear weapon, and you've seen proof that they have the ballistic capabilities to reach the US, and you have either public information or just unimpeachable intelligence that they plan to put those two things together and launch it at the United States, and then and only then do you strike. Those are they have internal logic. I can track what their belief system is. I can see how they map to it. And then we can agree or disagree about at what stage we do this at. Iran was not on my mind at all. This feels very opportunistic for me. And so it's like, okay, now we are in the situation that we're in. And given that Israel has made the moves that they've made, and they've they have gained air superiority, how far do you push Iran's military capabilities back?
International law does not require waiting until you are attacked, as long as there's credible evidence of an imminent threat. That's the part that we're debating right now.
That's international law, which reveals a belief or a value system, depending on how they intend it, that one should adhere to international law. Okay. So we're going to do this by the book. Then it becomes, who's going to adjudicate that? Because Israel is saying that is what we did. We have the credible information. But then people go, don't believe you.
With Iran, they did it. But I think, again, Israel has burned all of its goodwill with the dead babies attacking hospitals. I saw drone footage of them waiting for an Iranian official. He was sitting in traffic, left traffic, was going off of like the off ramp, and then they stroked the, like they waited until he was isolated, droned him, blew up the vehicle, no casualties. It was a very precise strike. And then you go to Gaza and they're like, yeah, all that over there. What are we bombing? Just all that in that side. Like, so that area. So it's, I can understand why people are saying Israel is just war happy, because on one side, it doesn't seem like there's any precision. And I get it. Allegedly, Hamas is hiding in hospital beds next to patients and doctors. But then you go to Iran and they're like, no, we had this report, we did it at 6 o'clock. They have all their paperwork right. You know what I mean? So I think there's a little bit of a hypocrisy happening right there. That in one region. I don't know that it's
hypocrisy. I think you can map both along lines that sound something like this. Dear world, we will use the minimum force necessary, but this shit is like real sort of blocky lines. There's no gray area. So you punch through our fences, you grab some hostages, you build tunnels. We will escalate so violently that you will wish that you had your leadership in like specific apartment complexes, so we could just kill the, the 12 nuclear scientists plus the 13 generals or whatever. You will pray that was the situation that you're in. But if you hide things in hospitals, under babies' cribs, then everyone dies. With that statement, you will understand everything you're seeing. They'll be precise if that is the setup, and they'll fucking carpet bomb if that's the setup. So again, I'm not justifying it. I'm just telling you that's what's happening. I wouldn't say it's hypocrisy. Now, I would say it's grotesque. I would say it's disgusting.